Before the Maurya Empire, ancient India was not one single country. It was a land of many small kingdoms and republics. These kingdoms were called Mahajanapadas. There were 16 of these great kingdoms, each with its own ruler and its own army. They often fought with one another for land and power. This was a time of great change and great conflict. People in different kingdoms spoke different languages and followed different customs. Life was very uncertain for ordinary people, as wars could break out at any time, disrupting their farms and their villages. Among these many kingdoms, one was growing much stronger than the others. This was the kingdom of Magadha, located in the eastern part of India. The rulers of Magadha were very ambitious. They had large armies with many soldiers, horses, and powerful war elephants. They slowly began to conquer their neighbors, making their kingdom bigger and more powerful. The Nanda dynasty ruled Magadha just before the Mauryas came to power. The Nanda kings were known for being very rich, but they were also known for being cruel and unpopular with their subjects. Many people were unhappy under their rule. Away in the northwest, a new threat appeared. Alexander the Great, the famous king from Macedonia, led his powerful Greek army into India. He conquered several small kingdoms in the Punjab region. Alexander's invasion showed the kingdoms of India that they were vulnerable. It proved that a well-organized and unified army could defeat the divided Indian rulers. Although Alexander did not stay in India for long and soon turned back, his presence left a deep impression. It created a power vacuum and a sense of urgency for a strong, unified Indian power to rise and protect the land. This was the world that was waiting for a great leader. The land was divided. The people were ruled by unpopular kings. A foreign invader had shown the weakness of the existing states. The stage was set for someone to unite these many small pieces into one great whole. The political and social conditions were ripe for the emergence of a powerful new dynasty. This dynasty would not only unite India, but also create one of the largest and most influential empires of the ancient world. The time had come for the Maurya Empire to be born from this chaos. The story of the Maurya Empire begins with a young man named Chandragupta Maurya. We do not know for sure about his early life. Some stories say he was born into a royal family that had lost its power. Other stories say he came from a more humble background. What is clear is that he was a brave, intelligent, and ambitious young man. He lived in the kingdom of Magadha, under the rule of the Nanda kings. He saw their cruelty and the weakness of the divided Indian states. He believed that India needed a better ruler, someone who could unite the people and defend the land. The second important person in this story is Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. Chanakya was a very wise and learned scholar. He was a teacher at the great University of Taxila. He was an expert in politics, economics, and military strategy. Chanakya was also deeply patriotic and dreamed of a united India. He once visited the court of the Nanda king in Pataliputra, the capital of Magadha. The king insulted Chanakya publicly. This made Chanakya very angry. He swore an oath that he would not rest until he had destroyed the Nanda dynasty and placed a worthy ruler on the throne. The paths of these two remarkable individuals were destined to cross. Chanakya began searching for a young leader who had the courage and skill to challenge the Nandas. One day, he saw a young boy, Chandragupta, playing a game with his friends. In the game, Chandragupta was acting as a king, dispensing justice to his friends with great wisdom and authority. Chanakya was very impressed by the boy's natural leadership qualities. He saw the potential for greatness in him. He knew at that moment that he had found the person he was looking for. Chanakya approached Chandragupta and decided to become his teacher and mentor. He took the young man to Taxila, the center of learning. There, Chanakya taught Chandragupta everything he knew. He trained him in the arts of war, in politics, and in how a king should rule. He shared his vision of a strong, unified empire. Together, the wise teacher and the determined student formed a powerful partnership. They planned to overthrow the Nanda dynasty and create a new empire that would be strong, just, and prosperous for all its people. With Chanakya as his guide, Chandragupta Maurya began his incredible journey to build an empire. Their first step was to raise an army. They did not have the wealth of a king, so they had to be clever. They recruited soldiers from different regions, including former soldiers of the small kingdoms Alexander had defeated. These men were skilled warriors who were looking for a new leader. Chanakya's strategic brilliance and Chandragupta's charismatic leadership inspired these men to join their cause. They formed a small but dedicated army, ready to fight for their vision of a united India. Their first target was not the powerful Nanda capital, but the northwestern regions of India. These areas had been destabilized by Alexander the Great's invasion and subsequent departure. The Greek governors left behind by Alexander were not very strong. Chandragupta and his army fought a series of battles against these Greek forces. They successfully drove them out of the Indian subcontinent. This victory was very important. It gave Chandragupta control over a significant territory, provided him with resources, and boosted his reputation as a powerful warrior and a liberator of the land. After securing the northwest, Chandragupta turned his attention to his ultimate goal, the Nanda dynasty. The Nanda army was huge and formidable, with vast numbers of infantry, cavalry, and fearsome war elephants. A direct attack on the capital, Pataliputra, would have been foolish. Following Chanakya's advice, Chandragupta's army began by conquering the outer provinces of the Nanda kingdom. They gradually weakened the Nanda's control and cut off their resources. This strategy of slowly encircling the enemy proved to be highly effective and avoided a costly head-on battle. Finally, the time came for the final confrontation. Chandragupta's forces marched on Pataliputra. The battle for the capital was fierce, but the Nanda king, Dhanananda, was unpopular, and his army's morale was low. Chandragupta's well-trained and motivated soldiers fought with great courage. In the end, the Nanda forces were defeated, and the king was overthrown. In 322 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya entered the city of Pataliputra as the new ruler. He had achieved his goal. The Nanda dynasty was finished, and the Maurya Empire had officially begun, with Chandragupta as its first emperor. Once he became emperor, Chandragupta Maurya faced the enormous task of organizing and ruling his vast new empire. With the guidance of Chanakya, who became his chief minister, he established a strong and efficient administration. The empire was divided into provinces, which were then divided into smaller districts and villages. A system of governors and officials was put in place to manage these territories. This organized structure helped to maintain law and order across the land. It ensured that taxes were collected fairly and that the emperor's commands were carried out everywhere. Chandragupta did not stop his conquests after taking Magadha. He continued to expand the empire's borders. He waged wars and made alliances, bringing almost the entire Indian subcontinent under his control, from the Himalayas in the north to the Deccan Plateau in the south. One of his most significant challenges came from the west. Seleucus I Nicator, one of Alexander the Great's former generals, had established his own empire and tried to reclaim the Indian territories Alexander had once held. Chandragupta's army met Seleucus's forces and defeated them. The peace treaty that followed this conflict was very favorable to the Mauryas. Seleucus gave up a large territory, including modern-day Afghanistan, to Chandragupta. In return, Chandragupta gave Seleucus 500 war elephants, which were highly valued in ancient warfare. To seal the alliance, a marriage was arranged, possibly between Chandragupta and a daughter of Seleucus. This treaty secured the western border of the Maurya Empire and established peaceful relations with the powerful Seleucid Empire. It was a major diplomatic and military triumph for the first Mauryan emperor. After a long and successful reign of about 24 years, an old story says that Chandragupta did something extraordinary. He gave up his throne. He had been influenced by the teachings of Jainism, a religion that emphasizes non-violence and spiritual purity. According to this tradition, he abdicated in favor of his son, Bindusara. He then traveled to southern India with a Jain monk named Bhadrabahu. There, he is said to have ended his life by fasting, a practice known as Salakhana. This act, whether historical or legendary, speaks to the complex character of the man who built one of the world's greatest empires. After Chandragupta Maurya abdicated his throne, his son Bindusara became the second Mauryan emperor, around 298 BCE. Bindusara inherited a vast and well-organized empire from his father. His main task was to maintain and consolidate the territories that Chandragupta had conquered. Ancient texts, don't give us as much detail about Bindusara's reign as they do for his father or his famous son, Ashoka. However, it is clear that he was a capable ruler who successfully managed the empire and continued his father's policies. He kept the administration running smoothly, and the large army ready. Bindusara was known by the title Amitragata, which means slayer of enemies. This suggests that he was a strong military leader who had to deal with rebellions and possibly expand the empire's borders. Historical sources indicate that he continued the Mauryan expansion into the southern parts of India, a region known as the Deccan. While Chandragupta had conquered the north, Bindusara is credited with bringing many of the kingdoms of the south under Mauryan control. He extended the empire's reach almost to the southernmost tip of the Indian subcontinent. Like his father, Bindusara also maintained good diplomatic relations with foreign powers. He continued the friendly relationship with the Hellenistic world, particularly the Seleucid Empire. Historical accounts from Greek writers mention that the Seleucid king sent an ambassador named Damachus to Bindusara's court in Pataliputra. There are also, interestingly, stories about Bindusara requesting the Greek king to send him sweet wine, dried figs, and a sophist, which is a type of philosopher. This shows that the Mauryan court was a cosmopolitan place, open to trade and cultural exchange with the outside world. Bindusara ruled for about 25 years, and during his reign, the empire remained strong and stable. He had several sons, and there was likely a struggle for the throne among them after his death. The most famous of his sons was Ashoka, who served as the governor of important provinces like Ujjain and Taxila during his father's rule. This experience gave Ashoka valuable training in administration and military command. Bindusara's successful reign ensured that the powerful empire created by Chandragupta was passed on intact and even expanded, setting the stage for his son, Ashoka, to lead it to its greatest heights. After Bindusara's death around 273 BCE, a power struggle began among his sons for the magnificent throne of the Maurya Empire. According to many legends, especially Buddhist texts, this was a violent and bloody contest. Bindusara's chosen successor was not Ashoka, but another son named Susima. Ashoka, who was serving as a provincial governor, was ambitious and determined to become emperor. The stories say that Ashoka fought and defeated his brothers in a brutal war of succession that lasted for several years. It's said he killed 99 of his brothers to secure his path to the throne. While, these stories of fratricide might be exaggerated to emphasize his later change of heart, it is clear that Ashoka's rise to power was not peaceful. He was a formidable and ruthless warrior, known for his ambition and military skill. He did not officially crown himself as emperor until about 4 years after his father's death, around 269 BCE. This delay suggests a period of intense internal conflict. In his early years as emperor, Ashoka continued the policies of his father and grandfather. He was focused on strengthening his rule, managing the vast administration, and expanding the empire even further. During this phase of his reign, Ashoka was known as Chandashoka, which means Ashoka the Fierce. He ruled with an iron fist. He was known to be a strict and demanding ruler, focused on power and conquest. He enjoyed the pleasures of a king, such as hunting and feasting, and he was not afraid to use violence to achieve his political goals. His primary objective was to expand the Maurya Empire to its absolute limits, bringing the entire Indian subcontinent under his singular command. He wanted to complete the work that his grandfather, Chandragupta, had started. Only one major region in India remained outside the control of the vast Maurya Empire. This was the Kingdom of Kalinga, located on the east coast of India, in the area of modern-day Odisha. Kalinga was a prosperous kingdom with a strong army and a thriving maritime trade. It controlled important trade routes to Southeast Asia. For a conqueror like Ashoka, an independent and wealthy Kalinga was both a threat and a prize. He decided that Kalinga must be conquered and brought into the Mauryan fold, a decision that would lead to a terrible war and change him forever. In the 8th year of his reign, around 261 BCE, Emperor Ashoka launched his massive military campaign against the Kingdom of Kalinga. The Mauryan army, one of the largest in the ancient world, marched eastward. The people of Kalinga fought back bravely to defend their freedom. The war that followed was incredibly brutal and destructive. It was a conflict of immense scale, with both sides suffering enormous losses. The fighting was fierce, and the land was soaked with the blood of soldiers and civilians alike. It was one of the most violent wars in the history of ancient India. The Mauryan army was ultimately victorious. The Kingdom of Kalinga was conquered and annexed into the empire. But, honestly, the victory came at a horrific price. Ashoka's own rock edicts, which are inscriptions he carved for his people to read, described the terrible aftermath of the war. According to his own words, 100,000 people were killed in the fighting, and 150,000 people were captured and taken away from their homes. Many more died from famine and disease that followed the destruction. The entire region was devastated. The once thriving kingdom was left in ruins. After the battle, Ashoka surveyed the battlefield. He saw the death and destruction his ambition had caused. He saw the crying widows and orphaned children. He saw the burned villages and the fields littered with the bodies of the dead. For the first time, the victorious emperor did not feel pride in his conquest. Instead, he was filled with deep remorse, sorrow, and profound regret. The immense human suffering he had caused weighed heavily on his heart and his conscience. He realized the terrible cost of war and conquest, and it changed him completely. This moment of profound realization was the great turning point in Ashoka's life, and in the history of the Maurya Empire. The fierce conqueror Chandragupta died on the battlefield of Kalinga. He decided to renounce war and violence forever. He began a spiritual journey, seeking a new way to rule and a new purpose for his life. He found his answer in the teachings of Buddhism, a philosophy that preached non-violence, compassion, and peace. Ashoka embraced Buddhism and decided to dedicate the rest of his reign to spreading a message of peace, not conquest. After his conversion to Buddhism, Ashoka completely changed his style of ruling. He replaced his policy of military conquest, or Digvijaya, with a new policy he called Dhamma Vijaya, which means conquest by righteousness. Dhamma, or Dharma, was a moral code based on the principles of non-violence, tolerance, compassion, and respect for all living beings, including elders, teachers, and people of all religions. Ashoka's goal was no longer to expand his empire's territory, but to improve the lives of his subjects and spread these ethical principles throughout his realm and beyond. To communicate his new philosophy to the people, Ashoka had his teachings carved onto large rocks and polished stone pillars. These are known as the Edicts of Ashoka. He placed these pillars and rock edicts all across his empire, in public places where people could gather and read them. They were written in local languages so that everyone could understand his message. These edicts are a unique historical record. They tell us about Ashoka's change of heart, his policies, and his desire for his people to live moral and peaceful lives. They are a testament to his new mission. Ashoka did not just preach his message, he put it into practice. He stopped royal hunting trips and discouraged the killing of animals for food in the royal kitchens. He built hospitals for both people and animals. He planted trees along roads and dug wells to provide water and shade for travelers. He appointed special officials, called the Dhamma Mahamadas, whose job was to travel throughout the empire and teach people about Dhamma. They were also tasked with ensuring the welfare of the people and protecting them from injustice. Ashoka's influence was not limited to his own empire. He was one of history's first great missionaries. He sent Buddhist monks and envoys to other countries to spread the teachings of the Buddha. He sent missions to Sri Lanka, to the Hellenistic kingdoms in the West, including Greece and Egypt, and to parts of Southeast Asia. His own son, Mahinda, and daughter, Sanghamita, are said to have led the mission to Sri Lanka, which led to the island nation becoming a major center of Buddhism. Through his efforts, Ashoka transformed Buddhism from a small Indian sect into a major world religion. The Great Maurya Empire began to decline after the death of Ashoka around 232 BCE. His successors were weaker rulers who could not manage the vast and complex empire. The provinces began to break away, and the central authority weakened. The last Mauryan emperor, Brihadratha, was assassinated by his own general, Pushyamitra Shunga, in 185 BCE. This event marked the official end of the Maurya dynasty. Although the empire lasted for less than 150 years, its impact on the history of India and the world was profound and long-lasting. The most important political legacy of the Mauryas was the idea of a united India. For the first time, a single, powerful, and stable government ruled over almost the entire subcontinent. This created a sense of political unity and a shared identity that had never existed before. The Mauryas established a sophisticated administrative system that became a model for later Indian kingdoms. Their network of roads facilitated trade and communication, connecting different parts of the country. This foundation of unity and administration would influence Indian politics for centuries to come. The Mauryan period was also a time of great cultural and artistic achievement. The stone pillars of Ashoka, with their magnificent animal capitals, are masterpieces of ancient art and engineering. The four-lion capital from Sarnath has been adopted as the national emblem of modern India, a symbol of the country's ancient heritage and commitment to peace. The idea of Dhamma, or righteous rule, introduced by Ashoka, became a powerful ideal for kingship in India and other parts of Asia. It promoted a model of a benevolent ruler who cared for the welfare of his people. Perhaps the greatest gift of the Maurya Empire to the world was the spread of Buddhism. Ashoka's patronage and missionary efforts were instrumental in transforming Buddhism into a global religion. His message of non-violence, peace, and compassion continues to inspire millions of people around the world today. The story of the Maurya Empire, from Chandragupta's ambition to Ashoka's remorse and transformation, is a powerful tale of power, war, and the search for a more enlightened way of life. It remains a shining chapter in the long and rich history of India.